And this is the true way to build this, to build Batman, 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 Batman.
Yo, one of the things that I like to do is address some of my old favorite CrossFit videos. Some that you may have heard of and some that you may have not heard of. And one of the ones that you may have heard of is called The Test of Fitness. You may have heard of it because it's got 2.8 million views on the CrossFit Games channel. If you haven't seen it, and after you're done watching what I put together here, you want to go click on it, I'll throw it into the description of this video so you can click on it and go check out the whole thing. It's 30 minutes long, and it's one of those videos that I think of those 2.8 million views, maybe 30 of them come from me. And I watch it the whole way through. At the end of this 30-minute video, you're all inspired and shit if you haven't watched it. It's just super awesome, and it's one of the things that kind of got people like me going back in the day. 8 years ago, yeah, so you're seeing this, and at the end of the film, there's about a 2-3 minute blurb where they kind of bring up a whole bunch of stuff. Now, it's about 10 years later, and I could have waited a year to do this, but I don't like to wait for things, so we'll just call it about a decade later. And they're bringing up all these things, like, can someone do this? Can someone do that? Where's Rich Froning at this point in time? So that's what I'm going to do in today's video, is I'm going to go over a film called The Test of Fitness. I'm going to interject in a couple points, and I'm just going to put in that little 2 to 3 minute segment at the end. So it starts with Froning talking, and then I'm going to throw in some clips from present day things that are happening where I think that they may fit. Let's go.
Batman.
Physically, I feel great. Physically, I feel like I could do this for another 7 to 10 years. But mentally, it takes a toll on you. Mentally, it's a different animal. So we'll see.
So that was 2013. Rich Froning went on to win in 2014 as well, as we all know. And then he kind of said the same stuff, but it was a little bit more definite. I actually think leading up to that, he goes, this will be my last season. Of course, we all know that he went and won a bunch of times with the team, so he didn't give up entirely. And maybe give up isn't the best way to put it, because he's totally dominating with him and his team. And he's also speculated recently, I think it was on one of the Savan podcasts, that he is probably going to be doing the Masters thing when he turns 35. And it's hard to believe that at any point he's going to give up doing any of this, but at this point in this video in 2013, after he had just won, he was talking about how it's kind of beating him up mentally. We heard Sam Briggs after her strength and depth finish, where she was 6th or 7th or 8th. She just missed finishing for the CrossFit Games. She said she didn't want to do the last chance qualifier. She said something that was very similar, which is that if she could keep doing it, if her body would keep doing it, she would keep doing it. Froning echoes a little bit of a body / mentally, more mentally I think it was. But either way, it just appears as if you can only do it for so long. Some people more, some people less. Why did Frazier give up after 5 years? There appears to be somewhat of a shelf life for the amount of time that you can put your body through the ringer that is the CrossFit Games and the season and everything that you have to do with it. So there's the Rich Froning check-in.
I think we've still got an unlimited playing field for adaptations still. I think that people are going to get stronger. I think they're going to get faster. Will we see somebody with a sub 5 minute mile and a 500+ pound back squat? Yes.
Come on, 1 rep, down up.
Come on, baby, go! 50. Yeah! Go! Yes! Let's go! Woo!
Will there be lots of them in 10 years? Yes.
So Adam Klink was the first to my knowledge that did the entire 500-pound back squat and then sub 5 minute mile. I think that there's somebody who did a 500-pound deadlift and then a 5 minute mile. And then I think that there's a couple of other niche people who have done these 500-pound plus back squat and the 5 minute mile, but they're right. There have been a ton of people who have done it, and it's almost like it was said here, and then everyone was kind of working their way towards it. So it's pretty cool.
We've seen heavyweights, we've seen endurance stuff. I think the next evolution is really complex gymnastics. So like planches, iron crosses, freestanding handstand push-ups.
Freestanding handstand push-ups for the first time in CrossFit Games history.
And it's not just about a handstand push-up, it's a handstand hold. It's a walk. It's a core stability, taxing movement, and then you throw a 405-pound deadlift in there for 30 reps. This is going to be a very taxing event, more than people just think about gymnastics and weightlifting.
I think CrossFit is single-handedly going to prove what the human body is capable of doing in multiple different domains.
And that's what's cool about this. It's a big experiment. There's no one way to train for this. What the athletes are all doing is training constantly varied functional movements at high intensity. What that looks like in application varies across the board.
There's a peek at the Justin Berg that I was very accustomed to. Not the Justin Berg of the press conference where it seems like he's talking about things and just to a brick wall and he's talking in circles and he doesn't really know what he's trying to say and then he doesn't end up actually saying anything. He says, Batman. What we all know. Constantly varied functional movements performed at a high intensity will lead you to the elitist form of fitness. He's speaking here and he seems like a genuinely really into it kind of guy, and he speaks present day and you kind of feel as if he's talking for somebody else. Do I know that for sure? Absolutely not. I just know that the tones are different. I know that he's in a different position right now. At least I think he's in a different position right now. But when I watched this initially, I was just like that giddy kid watching it 8 years ago. How old was I? 22 years old. Maybe he's changed quite a bit too, because I've changed quite a bit too. Batman. So people just might change.
That's our next generation. I'm so excited to see all those little girls kicking some butt and being muscular and all of that.
Thank you, Camille LeBlanc-Bazinet, for back in 2013, where you said things about how what you wanted to do was be a role model for little girls, and you wanted them to look at you and say, oh, that's so cool, look at what she can do. And you were doing the reps the full way, all the way to whatever extent or degree you had to for whatever movement you were doing. Everything you were doing was trying to be a role model for these little girls, not trying to make yourself look cool on the internet.
I think in the next 7 to 10 years, we will see someone with the capacity to run a sub 5 minute mile and clean and jerk close to 400 pounds. I think you'll see it.
They're all gonna have 300-pound snatches.
A few more inches to stand up to get that lift. Here's Jason Hopper at 300 pounds. And Ben Smith has it. Our third attempt at 300 pounds in this final heat. And Williams has that. And that is huge for Travis Mayer, 300 pounds.
Save right there.
Pancic at 300.
Oh.
And that is easy.
They're all gonna have 600-pound deadlifts. So they're all gonna run sub 5 minute miles. They're all gonna have sub 2:15 Frans.
They're gonna be phenomenal. Gonna be phenomenal. It'll be fun to watch because I'll be watching at that point for sure.
Battle, and two of these teams are already.
I don't think we're gonna win marathons. I don't think we're gonna win Olympic lifting competitions. I think people are gonna catch on to, wow, that dude just lifted a lot of weight and he can run and he looks good. Wow.
Look, I was a Navy SEAL for 12 years. And if you were to say, how would I create the ultimate Navy SEAL physically, it would be through this training program, and it'd be someone like Rich Froning. And this program does that. It builds superheroes, it builds real life superheroes. To build Batman.
And in 2020, we'll look back and say we were just in 2013 scratching the surface. I've been involved with CrossFit for long enough. We're just starting to understand what fitness really was. And I just hope that we don't look back and go, hey, we were sandbagging it. We weren't asking more. So we're excited about the future.
So what do you think? Like I said, I just call myself the dot connector. So I was connecting the dots. There's something from 2013. Here's some people doing it present day. I know Guy Malheiros hasn't done the clean and jerk, but it was close. He did the clean and jerk at 390 a year before he did the clean at 407. I bet he can do it. Maybe he took my advice that he's not posting that sort of stuff to the internet for everybody to just know about. You can see that Phil Toon, Anthony Davis are able to do the deadlifts over 600. You can see Marissa Flowers is doing a Fran well under 215. And basically every single athlete at the games, male and female, can all do Fran under 215. The 300-pound snatch thing was pretty wild at the Mid-Atlantic CrossFit Challenge in 2021. Everyone apparently on the male side was able to hit a 300-pound snatch. In this video, I think the thing that's missing is the fact that they say, 600-pound deadlift and a 500-pound back squat with a mile run, and they don't really talk about the female stuff all that much. So I remember at one point in time, this is before the entire NoRep thing, I just put together a little benchmark for the fittest on earth, like what I think that the fittest, most dominant human being on the planet could do. It's one more of those sort of challenges. Hey, you can do the 5-minute mile and the 500-pound deadlift. Well, can you do all of these things? So if you were a female, could you do a 400-pound deadlift, a 350 back squat, a 540 run, a 250 clean, a 200 bench press, a 200 snatch, 30 rounds of Cindy, a 2K row in 7:10, and 80 muscle ups in under 12 minutes. That was all for the female side. And I'll put it up here so you'll be able to see the male side too. But I remember when I was watching this, I was thinking like, what could the females do? And of course, as a male myself, I was like, I want to try to do all those things. It's almost kind of what got me going on the training end of it in the first place was, okay, we'll work our way towards a 500-pound back squat. We'll work our way towards a 5-minute mile. What other things can I do? I want to work my way towards a 6-minute and 20-second 2K row. And how many unbroken double unders can I do? And how many unbroken chest to bar pull-ups can I do? And I felt like when I plugged all of those things together, all of a sudden I would be in contention for the fittest on earth. And sitting here, you're watching my videos, you know that that's never been something that I've done, but it was always something that I thought that was cool in my head. If I could do all those things and package them into one person, whether it be me or anyone that I happen to train with, it would lead you down the path to beating Matt Frazier or Rich Froning or Tia Toomey's winning on that year. So that's the sort of stuff that I would take away from watching videos like this. At the beginning of it, I hope you liked that I was just kind of throwing in comments from the comment section saying, this is the best video on YouTube. I can't believe that this is so cool. I love CrossFit. And then I'm going to throw in a couple right here where it's like, I can't believe that how well this aged, and it's being sarcastic, of course, and it's like they let go of the media team. And yeah, like I told you, that got me going. I watched it probably 30 times, and this is the type of stuff that you don't see coming out of CrossFit anymore. You do see like the 2-hour videos, but those 2-hour videos, it's like the 2022 games, next generation, 2021. It's a little bit redundant. It's almost the same thing that we've seen year after year. It's like, oh, loud noise with grenades and shit going off in the background, and then you see a lift, and then it cuts to them talking a little bit, and then they go to the next event where they're running, la la la, grenades. I was actually listening to a Training Think Tank podcast. It's like, wow, wow, and that's the entire freaking film for 5 years straight. And of course, this one at the end has a little bit of that, but this is a 30-minute video, and I felt like it was just done a little bit more artistically and not as much Michael Bay to it. Go ahead and watch the video. Let me know what you think. Put something in the comment section because, you know, I love the algorithm. Like, help out the video. And I think that's all I got for this one. Andrew Hiller out.